Hello, good to have you again on the program, and of course this still remains the Polity on KAFTAN television. As always, we try to talk about things that have to do with matters that affect the polity, as I would rather prefer to say. And today we will do what we normally do. Okechukwu Onubogu here. I am not alone on the program today. But before I let you know, I have two guests in the first place. One of them is here, seated in the studio with me, and the other one is joining us via Zoom. We have a talk. We have a point to look at, a topic. And our topic for today has to do with forest guards or National Guards. I want to look at these two because something happened quite recently. We know that forest guards are the people that play a crucial role in protecting Nigeria's forests and wildlife. And in recent times, we started talking about stressing the fact that there is need to have forest guards everywhere to ensure that security is effectively carried out in Nigeria. Looking at what they do, the forest guards patrol forests, as it is, they are guarding forests, preventing illegal logging, poaching, and encroachment. That's part of what they do. They also monitor wildlife, tracking animal populations, and reporting any unusual activity within the region or their duty. That is the forest where they guard. We also have the fact that they do enforcement of laws. Excuse me. Issuing fines or arrests for environmental crimes. Community engagement, they do education. They educate locals about sustainable forest management and conservation. These are some of the things we see them do. There are many other things, and of course they have their challenges and all. We'll talk about all these things as we go on in the program today. But one major challenge they have had is insecurity, and that's why we're bringing this in on the program today. Looking at forest guards and looking at National Guards. The National Guards are the ones that will guard the nation to ensure that lives and properties are put in perfect order, that is, are protected effectively. And so some of these things, we want to look at them as they are and find out, let me use a word, which is the preferable one, which one is more, if in a scale of preference, which one do we need more than the other? Because at a time like this, we have had so much things happening in forests, and that's why in the first place, in recent times, forest guard activities have been brought to the limelight. But more. It is good to have forest guards, but the thing is, it is better to have a National Guard. So let's look at them. So I will tell you that I have people with whom I am here in the program today, and right in the studio I have Olumuyiwa Onlede. Olumuyiwa Onlede is a public affairs analyst, and a lot more. But let's just stop it at that now, and we will talk, and we will share a lot more. Olumuyiwa, good to have you on the program.
It's a pleasure being here once again.
Right. It's always a great pleasure to have Olumuyiwa on the program. So you stay, be part of this, you will hear him, and you'll be glad you did. I've also got someone else, and this other person I've got is, as I said, joining us via Zoom, and he is far away, not in Africa, he is in America. And so we're getting him to be part of what we do today. And I'm talking about Dr. Dare Ogunlana. Dr. Dare Ogunlana is a professor, and he is a cyber security specialist or cyber security expert. He's all that. If we've got him on, yes, it's good to see. I've seen his handsome face. Prof, it's a pleasure to have you on the program again.
Thank you.
Right. I want to let you hit it from your side. Then I'll return to Olumuyiwa. We'll continue again. But let me throw the first question. Looking at National Guards and looking at Forest Guards, which one would you prefer? And why would you prefer which? And what do you advise the nation concerning the two?
Let me start by saying good afternoon to every one of you there.
Yes.
And good morning from here.
Yeah,
I'm
Olumuyiwa from over there, yes.
Telling the morning over here.
Yeah.
So, as usual, I'm Olumuyiwa Onlede, a national security scholar and intelligence policy analyst. And my work focuses on state security discern, intelligence coordination, and the role of technology in addressing complex security threats. Let me put it this way. Nigeria insecurity, particularly in the forest region or in the north, is not simply a question of armed presence. We have to get that right. It is a failure of intelligence, surveillance, coordination, and governance over ungoverned spaces that we have in there. Our groups exploit these gaps faster than conventional security responses can adapt to. And this conversation should move beyond Forest Guard versus National Guard. The real issue is whether Nigeria is prepared to build a modern, intelligence-driven security architecture that delivers control, accountability, and sustainable security outcomes. It is not about whether it's Forest Guard or National Guard. Nigeria's security crisis is not a shortage of armed personnel. It is a failure of state security design. Forest has become sanctuary for criminals and extremist networks because they sit at the intersection of weak governance, poor intelligence integration, and obsolete security doctrine. I'll stop from there first.
Thank you so much. This is serious. But we'll handle it today and talk about it and see how it could be made better. Thank you so much, Prof. Let me ask Olumuyiwa here with me to also say something about looking at both and telling us what he thinks about it.
I think there's no shortage of security agencies as we try to navigate our way as a nation through this insecurity that has bewildered us for more than a decade or two now. But just as Doctor said, I think National Guard or Forest Guard is not the issue. What is available to them in terms of technology is what will determine whether they are going to be effective or we are just going to have uniform men drawing salaries and drawing budget from government covers without adequate improvement in our security in Nigeria. We as a people, we are supposed to look at technology-driven security, and every strategy we are going to use must be technology-driven. If it is not technology-driven, then I think we are not going to get the kind of result that we want, because there are gaps, according to what he said. There are gaps, and there's no gainsaying about that. There's no argument. There are gaps that these non-state actors looked at, and they attack based on those gaps. They operate based on those gaps. How best can we, through all these uniform men, close those gaps and make sure that we are ahead? Because whatever strategy we are using right now, whether from the military to forest guard to national guard to police to paramilitary, every one of them, they are reactionary. I don't think they are proactive enough to deal with this situation that we find ourselves in the country. You are not supposed to be a passive waiter. You are supposed to be an active searcher. In such situations, if you are an active searcher, you'll be ahead of your opponent. These non-state actors, they've seen that until they strike, they don't respond. They don't respond. So, and that is not supposed to be so. We are not supposed to allow them to strike. And how do we do that? Through technology. And I think, Doctor, we shed more light into how technology can be deployed, how it can be used. I know you may not be able to say some things because of the sensitivity of security issues, but in such a way that people will be enlightened that this is the direction we are supposed to go. I believe he will be able to use his expertise to enlighten us and the viewers. Even as we talk about the political and the social and every other environment around, whether it's forest guard or national guard, and whatever political issue can arise in their operation, because you cannot pull out security political issues from whatever is happening in Nigeria. So as we continue to do that, I believe we are going to have headway. But it's not left for the policymakers and those in power to listen and make use of whatever thing that they have picked from the conversation that will be useful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Onlede. There is, from the conclusion of your talk, something else came to my mind, called to mind, really, and that is the fact that even as we are talking about national guards, if we lack the political will, it may never happen. There could be things that will be like a mirage that we will see. The more you look, the less you see. And you're going, you see it's like water, but by the time you get there, see there's no water there, That's the kind of thing that we can have. And the government and those carrying out the activities of government would use that as an avenue for slush funds, effectively. And at the end of the day, it goes that way. So I want to ask Prof, this matter of having political will, because, you can make your suggestions, and at the end of the day, they will just keep it aside. How do you see it? Don't you see it as something that is of paramount need to talk about, political will? Do you think this government, or even the ones that will come, do you see Nigerian governance as prepared politically? Do they have the will to let these things you will talk about to happen?
Thank you very much. And before I answer that directly, let me build on what the last speaker said.
Okay.
And let me reframe the problem this way, that Nigeria's forests are not merely physical terrain.
Yeah.
So they are operational spaces exploited by actors who understand mobility, secrecy, and information advantage. And these groups we are talking about, they are motivated by greed and ideology. Why our political elites are not that really motivated in such way? Why those that we put in forefront, law enforcement, military, they are only motivated with their salary. And that salary is not even enough. The morale is very low. So when you are now fighting those people who are highly motivated by ideology, religious belief, and also their personal gain, of course, you know what the result is going to be. And that's why the adversary, they are able to move faster than conventional forces. They exploit those gaps between federal, state, and local authority. And they also use modern technology and communication better than we do. Imagine they started using drone against our infrastructure before we now became reactive. Informal finances, they were able to move money to be able to fund their operation. They are even, in some part of the north, now they are even imposing taxes. They are taking money from the ransom to buy more weapons. And also they have local intelligence. They have people who are collaborating with them because people have lost faith in the state. So the state responds with fragmented force structures and reactive deployment. And that is a kind of mismatch, and that guarantees failure. Now talk about the political will. Let me tell you, each successive government, they talk about taming the surge of insecurity in Nigeria. But if you look at that, they are confused or they don't know how to go about that.
Yes.
And also the resources that are available to them, whether human asset, is quite challenging. So now coming back to issue of political will, yes, they want to do something, but they don't know how to do it. And also the resources available to them maybe may not be able to do that. And that's why we've always talked about reform in our law enforcement, reform in the military. And that was why the issue of National Guard that I proposed the other time came in. We don't have National Guard in Nigeria. In the United States, there's what we call National Guard with dual control between federal government and state government.
Yes.
So, and what happened is that the National Guard, they are going to be mobilized from within that state. I come from Lagos State. In Lagos State, it means those who are going to be members of that National Guard, they are going to be from Lagos State. They understand the terrain.
Yes.
If I'm from Borno State, the member of National Guard, they are going to have same military training, and some of them are going to be resurfaced. And when there's a national need for emergency, before I will go to Adamawa or I will go to Lagos or Alamala Barak in Abeokuta, they will have mobilized National Guard immediately. And why Forest Guard? Forest Guard has been, what kind of weapon do you give to Forest Guard? So Forest Guard can actually assist in terms of intelligence gathering. So the Forest Guard versus National Guard debate assume the problem is who carries the gun. Mm-hmm. The assumption may be flawed at times. Security effectiveness will always depend on who controls the intelligence, who coordinates response, who governs accountability, and who integrate technology. And without these, any new force becomes symbolic, politicized, or predatory.
Thank you so much, Prof. Again, just as we were concluding, something also called to mind again. And that's talking about the fact that the use of technology is now a must as far as security or territorial security is concerned. Is that not so, sir?
Well, you see, we've always been talking about use of technology. And from a security point of view, technology doesn't answer everything. You talk about political will, but also the will of those who will use it. And I'll give you a very clear example. And I will use our election as a case study. In the past, we started asking for what are you doing now to be able to ensure that we accredit everyone, we get result, it goes to the server.
Yes.
But in Nigeria, last election, when it comes to presidential election, deliberately that technology was sabotaged. So so when people talk about technology, we talk about how the people first, technology get compromised when people get compromised. So in Nigeria, we've seen how unmotivated soldiers, unmotivated personnel, how they were selling those even weapons to the adversary. We've seen a situation where intelligence was not properly controlled. So before we start talking about technology, doctrine is very important. We have to start from how we select our security personnel. What kind of training are we giving them? Is it not that the politicians that they are bringing their retired thugs and they are recruiting them into the law enforcement and military? So these are kind of what we need to resolve. Is it not the same politicians who are bringing their children who are not even qualified to lead our law enforcement agencies and military? So these are kind of what we need to. So first, how we recruit, and that necessitates reform that we have been talking about. Reform is very important. Every successful security system begins with reform. Intelligence dominance. Nigeria currently lacks that. We need unified intelligence vision across agencies, persistent surveillance of forest corridors, real-time situational awareness, predictive threat analysis. And as long as criminals know more about terrain, as long as criminals are highly motivated than our own personnel, whatever we do may not even, bring that result. So history shows that danger of poorly designed, even auxiliary forces could be problem. Politicization, ethnic or regional capture, arms leakage, erosion of civilian trust. So forest guard without national doctrine, military without national doctrine, law enforcement without training standard, and oversight risk becoming another layer of insecurity for us.
Yes. Thank you again. Muyiwa, looking at it the way we have seen, how do we, because Prof has just mentioned, a reform. And in fact, from his speech, it should be a foundational thing for all of us. But the old ones will tell you that they have gone beyond it, that they don't need any kind of reform. Incidentally, among these old that will tell you that there is no need for any reform, they have children that they have sent outside, and the purpose of sending children outside is not just because they want them to go and learn, but to encapsulate them from the negativity that is happening in the land that they are perpetuating. How do we come out of this? These children of theirs, would there be any time they will want to come back knowing what their fathers have done?
Most of them, they come back. But if you remember, during the First Republic, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa said something. He was talking specifically to northern Nigerian people, leaders, that everybody should be allowed to go to school, every children should be allowed to go to school, that if you don't allow everybody to go to school, the ones you are allowed to go to school will not rest because of the ones that did not go to school. Those ones that did not go to school will not allow the one that went to school to rest. No. Now, we're talking about reforms. Prof said something about unmotivated security agents selling arms.
And we had one just recently in Niger State.
Those things are very difficult to deal with because in management, it is said that you cannot be motivated unless you have a motive. What kind of motive do you have joining the military? What kind of motive do you have joining the armed forces or security agency, as it were? Most of the people that we find wearing our uniforms today are not interested to some certain extent. Only few are interested. Number one, why we have them there is unemployment. So many Nigerians now do what is available. Your uncle is somewhere, he has a space in Nigerian police, Nigerian army, Nigerian navy. He wants to put you there. You say, no, you are not interested. Your parents say, okay, you leave my house if you are not interested. So you are forced to join. So what are you going to do there? You see a man, a boy, just the way you said it, that they are being sent out. Was sent to the United Kingdom to study. He was not working while studying. There was enough money from the family to take care of all his needs, including his extravagant life. Now he's back. You want him to join the military, you want him to become a security agent, which we all agree that those jobs are tedious jobs. They are not jobs for the lily-livered and the faint-hearted. So it's not used to those kind of things. So what will be the level of his performance on that job? You look at the way the country is constituted, the North and the South. The North broken down to 3 regions, the South broken down to 3 regions, distinct ethnic values. Then both North and South, within ourselves, we have different religions. Now, then we have different states within both North and South. So that one side will not dominate the other. The government came up with something that is called federal character. That federal character is supposed to balance things within different ethnic and, divides.
Yes.
But what are the disadvantages of those federal character? It is to say that if you want to recruit 774 uniformed men in Nigeria, then you must split the 774 among the 774
local government areas.
So now in some local government you have those that are agitating that they want to be uniform men. They want to join, they want to fight for their country, they want to help their country navigate through this insecurity. Then in one local government we have nobody interested.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, somebody will be persuaded in a local government that nobody is interested to just go there. You are just going there to represent us. You are not going there, automatically he's not going there to help Nigeria. He's going there to represent the local government. So that affects performance. So he's not motivated. He doesn't have a motive to perform, a motive to serve the nation. There's something that's called service, which people do not understand in this country. Service. When you go into a professional job, it's service, public service. An accountant, you are into public service, then you want to serve the nation. You are not talking about riches and wealth. Compared to other nations, they are not talking about riches and wealth. But if, as an accountant, you want wealth to justify the fact that, you want to calculate money, you go to private sector. But in Nigeria, we see people coming to public sector to claim that their salary is incomparable to what their mates in the private sector are earning. No, those are two different things. Once you say you want to serve, you have given yourself to the country. You are not talking about wealth. You are not talking about riches. So if somebody is coming to the military and all he looks at is how to go to the finance, how to go to logistics, and have access to money that is voted to fight insecurity, then we continue to have a situation whereby our security agencies will underperform because of the kind of people that we have there. So policies that Prof talked about, implementation, when you formulate those policies, implementation becomes very difficult. Very, very difficult in Nigeria. Why is our education having the kind of problem that we are having now? Today we have graduates that are not employable. We have graduates that have gotten a job in government that they cannot write memo. How did they get to the university in the first place? Because of quota system. Number one, catchment area, quota system. Then somebody has 150 in JAM, UTME in one state, is admitted to a university, somebody has 320
It's not admitted.
It's not admitted. I'm telling you from what somebody from
Kwara State.
talking
about 120.
Somebody from Kwara State.
Somebody has 80.
Somebody from Kwara State. Somebody from Kwara State has 345 to study medicine in Kwara State University. Not admitted till today. Not admitted.
Oh,
345. Those that did not admit the boy, they should tell us what they got in their own JAMB when they before they got to the university, and what they got, the whole ones, what they got in IBAS, because I was IBAS before IGMB before JAMB.
yes.
So policy implementation is a very big issue in the country, and it's affecting every sector of our being. Now, the security aspect is very difficult because people must be represented. Local government must be represented. People even use religion to get uniform jobs. That is very pathetic to hear. People that will do uniform jobs must be interested. These jobs must not be politicized. Once you politicize this kind of jobs, then we are not going to get results. Once you put politics in the recruitment, placement, recruitment, that's politics. Once they are recruited, placement, who goes to this place, who go to this side, who go to this department, another politics. Then promotion,
Has
another politics. Then appointments within the system, another politics. So those competent hands that are not being appointed into critical offices within the system, they tend to relax because they saw. Can you imagine that people with 2-2 are lecturing in Nigeria? Let me digress a little bit. And people with 2-1 are roaming about
not doing anywhere.
From the same school, the same department. So it's very difficult. And to deal with those things, people like us in the civil society, we have looked at it. How do we deal with this kind of issues? Because immediately you say this kind of things, we are saying, people say you are attacking them. You are attacking what they stand for. You are attacking their ethnic groups. You are attacking their tribal affiliation. And it's not so. All we are talking about is solutions to our problems.
Yes.
And what is this problem? Insecurity. If we solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria today, majority of our problem will be solved.
Yes.
Because today, according to what Prof said, people cannot go to farm. They have to pay tax to go to farm. And when they pay tax to Group A in banditry, by the time they are to harvest their crops, Group B will come and steal their crops. So how do we deal with such situation? How do we deal with such situations? And there are people that are not bold enough to come out and say, no, this is not what we represent. This is not us. Until we have such that stakeholders in different communities, in different states, different regions, we come up with a very unified force and say, this is not us. Anybody found doing this should be dealt with. Anybody found doing this does not represent us. We are not going to get any headway. We will just continue to talk about it. We will continue to deliberate, we will continue to advise, but nothing will be done. Because you see today, people are in DSS custody. I'm not saying dirty bandits, I'm talking about people in government for giving money to Mr. A and B without corresponding job being delivered by those Mr. A and B. So, what are those monies for? So we have a very big problem within ourselves as a people. Patriotism is at the lowest ebb.
Oh.
Love across regions, across ethnic groups, is at the lowest ebb. Even love now within the same ethnic group is also at the lowest ebb.
Yes.
Because whether anybody likes it or not, these bandits, they have terrorized villagers within their localities more than they terrorize outsiders. So, what has happened? These are places that were very, 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 very peaceful 2 decades ago.
And
So,
safe.
policies must be formulated, but implementation, that is where I say there's a problem.
Well, thank you so much, Onlede. Thank you so much. Again, talking about 2 decades ago, everywhere was peaceful and all that, reminded me of a young man I met years back, not about that, about 30 years ago. We met at Onitsha, and he was a trader. So he would come from Maiduguri to Onitsha to buy goods that he would take back to Maiduguri to sell. And I can't remember what was happening, but so we're talking about something, and kind of security matter came up, and he said, we don't have such a problem in Maiduguri. He said, where I live, the compound, you hardly lock your door. He told me, now I am with you in Onitsha. Sorry about that. I'm with you in Onitsha. But would you believe that the door to my sitting room is open? I said, what? He said, yes.
It was so.
Or it's just the curtain, the blind that is just down. That's all. But the door is quite open. And it will remain like that. Nothing will happen to anything that I have left in my house until I return. That was about 35 years ago that he was saying this. I felt so, I don't know what word to use, but you know, it was good to hear that somewhere this young man that happens to be an Igbo man, someone from the southeast, came to buy things in the southeast and left the north. I don't know, the north is not east. It's not east. It's not northwest. Yes, it's not central. It's northeast. Left the northeast and came to southeast to buy things. And without any fear, he will get back and see everything the way they were. Today, if there is a provision store across your compound and you want to just run across and purchase something from the provision store, you will need to lock up your door very well so as to go there, get what you want to get, get what you want to get.
Even when it is locked, you are still not at ease.
Even at that, you're still not at ease. Prof, what can happen? What can happen to see that things will be done? Let me also mention something else. My colleague, who happens to be the head of station here, was telling us here, me and another colleague of mine, that in Doha, that you will drop your handset and go wherever you want to go. On the road, drop it by the side of the road. No matter how long you spend where you have gone to, you will get back there, you still see your handset, you pick it and go. He said that there is zero tolerance for crime and criminality there. But it's a different ball game here, because you will have your handset in your pocket, but there's an area you will go through, you will not see that your handset again. Okay. Okay. Please, we will get Prof to join again, and he will give us the answer to this question, even as we have gone on to talk. We would take a slight break and we will return.
Welcome to Aba in Abuja.
The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products.
Could this trigger the much needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery? Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among Committee of Nations. Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment. Total liberalization of the communication sector will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative. That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention is beginning to have effect on Nigeria for good. Reporting from Dubai. Hello, I am Ruben Okala. I have not retired. I am refiring at KAFTAN TV. And as you see on KAFTAN TV, get back to work.
Yes, imagine a beautiful world. That is what we say here all the time, because we want to imagine a beautiful world. And so as I was talking about Doha, they say that there is zero tolerance for criminality and for criminals, for crime, criminality, and for criminals. Can we say, is there anyhow we can have strength to say such a thing about our own nation? Prof.
Yes, everywhere in the world, security issues are local. And I have not seen any society without crime, right? I don't know about that story in Doha, but I know
in Doha,
there's problem. There's problem everywhere, including the United States, where I'm sitting now talking to you from. So I was NANS president, that's National Association of Nigerian Students, in 1996-97. And we used to drive from Ibadan, from University of Ibadan to Maiduguri. Nobody stopped us. But as at that time, we still know there are armed robbers and everything. But what we've seen today, we've seen the implosion of population and technology, and also lack of opportunity for young people, lack of opportunity for a lot of people. And that has put pressure on the society, and people are looking for a way out by all means, by hook, by crook. And also, someone would say the character of a leader is the character of a nation, right? If you look at the character of those that have been ruling us at local level, at local government level, at state level, at federal level, well, that is a kind of reflection of what we see in our society today. Because when you don't make opportunity for people, people are going to create one for themselves. And that's where government have to do something. So I don't want to look at what has happened in the past and people are saying, okay, it was good at one time. There have always been problems just because the population and reporting is different today. We can quickly know what's good. I'm just talking to you live. As at the time I was president 30-something years ago at the University of Ibadan, we don't have this opportunity. So now if something happens, people are able to quickly get what is going on. But let me go back to what is going to be a credible solution to most of the problems we have in Nigeria, so that not to lose sight of what we're talking about when it comes to the issue of insecurity. We need clear legal authority and unified command and control. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has the opportunity at this point in time. He has local support, he has international support. He must give marching order to all the governors, to all the local government chairmen, and it's high time for now to implement that state policing. That is going to help us, because the security problem in Maiduguri is different from the one in Lagos. The one in Lagos is different from the one in Niger Delta. And that is why having this kind of local state police is very important. Integrated intelligence sharing is very important. Technology and data surveillance, civilian oversight, and accountability is key. So whether branded as what we're talking about today, whether like I propose National Security Guard, whether it's branded as National Security Guard or Forest Guard, these conditions are non-negotiable. We must have all those things. No, Nigeria must transition from force accumulation to what I call security system engineering. And this means we have to design institution, not improvising unit. We have to prioritize intelligence over feasibility. Governing space through information, nor fear. At this point in time, we have to understand that's the population implosion and no employment, like the speaker mentioned the other time. Those who are trained to become accountant, all of a sudden, they find themselves becoming police officer. And we have this greed sermon by all our prophets and pastors in Nigeria. They want everybody to become rich very fast. And that put a lot of pressure on people. We want miracles. So, and that's why someone who is earning 100,000 naira in a month is going to build mansion worth 20 million naira. I saw Dangote's petition about one person who, of course, his son was actually attending secondary school in Switzerland and was paying $5 million per term or per year. So, this problem cut across, and that's why it has to do with leadership. So in Qatar, if you are caught doing anything that you're not supposed to do, they know the implication. In Saudi Arabia, but before they get into that, they create conducive atmosphere.
Exactly.
Great opportunity for their people. So we cannot just be punishing people and be arresting people. We cannot just be doing so. It has to be holistic. So, and that's why President Bola Tinubu must do something. Give marching order to governors, lead by example, do what needful, and leave legacy at this point in time. The state regains control of forests when it regains control of information, coordination, and legitimacy. Until then, armed solution will remain temporary, very expensive, and of course, it's going to be ineffective. That's my submission.
Thank you so much, Prof. Well, you have seen it, you have heard Prof say things about that. But there was something Prof had earlier mentioned, that this thing should be a kind of a collaboration between the federal and state, you know, because when you do this, the people that are working, the personnel, are in those localities and they understand what is going on. And there was a picture you painted which is important to be brought in here again. Let me use Anambra State. In Anambra State, before now, years back, people would not want to become policemen. And so that was why all those years, if they needed, just as you mentioned, maybe 50 people from each state in the police force, in Anambra you will find only 3 or at most 10. So they will bring from other states and fill up the gap for Anambra. And it went on.
And on.
And on, yes. And it's just in recent times that they started thinking about, okay, and why did they not want to? They felt that these people were doing wrong and they didn't want to get involved. So a kind of orientation was brought in to help them understand that even if there is wrong that you've seen everywhere, even if it's imminent that there is wrong everywhere, wrongdoing everywhere in the police, you can get in there and sanitize.
And do what is right.
Yes.
Do what is right.
Do what is right and make the difference. That was why
it's going to be very difficult.
Yes, and that's why we started seeing people from that state coming in to enter the police force in the higher levels. Even the junior ones, people started encouraging that they would also join. All these.
I think that it's not necessarily doing what is wrong in the police that made Anambra people not to join police, and they see those jobs as lazy jobs.
Lazy jobs.
A typical Anambra man want to do business.
Yes.
Want to become a boss of his own.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? After serving, you want to become a boss. You want to control people. You want to control business. You understand? With those opportunities are not there right now. If you join the police, you have to wait for a very long time because you become a boss. Now, the entrepreneurship acumen in them was a factor in that aspect.
Decision you were taking there.
That aspect. You understand? Even to today, there are so many people with them visa, they will not go to the United Kingdom, they will not go to, because the opportunity of you becoming an entrepreneur becomes limited.
Yes.
When you go to those countries. So they have decided to stay in Nigeria. Not because they don't have the means or the resources to go, but because. So in those years, you had people representing Anambra within the security agency that are not from the state. So number one, interest is not there. To serve the nation. Number two, even the state they say you come and serve, it's not your state. So another interest is not even there again. And I think it may not be possible, but I think when it comes to security, if you want to recruit, you're supposed to leave it open for people that are qualified to come. Qualified, number one. Interested, number two. Interested, number one. Qualified, number two. You understand? So, but when you put people that are not qualified, because, for example, Nigeria police, that's the most respected job in the world. There's no nation that does not have police. But we have countries. In Costa Rica, they don't have military. There's no need for it. There's no need for it. They are not at war with any country. Trump is not after them. They are not after Trump. So they don't have external aggression.
Yes.
So there's no need. Iceland, I think Iceland also, they don't have military. You understand? Less than a million people. They don't have military. And they are peaceful nations, you know. So, but you must have a police. You must have a police, you know. But what we have now is even the military doing the job of the police.
Yes.
In countries like Nigeria, even in America, the military is on the street. It might interest you to know. Even America is helping other countries to fight crime. They have military on their streets fighting crime, which is not supposed to be so. So, but they have dedicated hands to deal with their situation in those countries. That's the difference between America and Nigeria. We have resources, they have resources too. In case our resources is not enough, we have external resources accrued to us, whether by grant or by loan or by support.
Yes.
You know? But the management of those resources, it what makes the difference between Nigeria and America. The dedication of those handling the resources, the dedication of those the resources are allocated to. There are people handling the resources at the top. Those that are the resources are allocated to fight crime at the lower level. The dedication of those people. Those are the two differences. The difference between Nigeria and America. You understand? And America takes America first. America first. And we have problem in Africa, in Nigeria. If we are going to limit it to Nigeria, in those countries, in the West, if you are to buy a house, you don't buy directly from the owner. You buy from, you buy through a lawyer.
Yes.
You buy through a lawyer. The lawyer verifies you, check your account, check your income, check inflow into your account. Then if the lawyer is not satisfied that the inflow into your account does not have any negative impact on the country, on his country, he reports you to the government. But we see ourselves looking for lawyers that will cover our track in Nigeria.
Yes.
So, why you say there's problem of leadership? I say there's problem of followership because the leaders emerge from the followers. The leaders emerge from citizens. And all these things happen in the education sector, in this sector, in another sector. But what pains me most is for these kind of things to happen in the security sector. Very important sector that everybody must take seriously. If you see any uniformed man today not fighting crime, then he doesn't even know what he's doing. To me, he doesn't even know, because they are the first target. They had the first target. You know what happened in Benin?
Yes.
There was a protest against EFCC. The EFCC arresting Yahoo boys in Benin. Policemen went on their way along that protest corridor in a Siena. People saw them and said, oh, you see EFCC. EFCC called the other people. They were attacked, beaten, vehicle destroyed. One of them owns the vehicle. Beaten, destroyed. They are still in the hospital. They are still in the hospital. That is, you see, for you now not to fight crime, you are the first target. Patriotism is not what is. It's not there. We are not patriotic enough to have the kind of country that we desire. An average Nigerian man desire a good country. An average Nigerian man desire a wonderful country where you open your tap and water will not come out, milk will be coming out. But once you are in position of power, all those ideas that you have vanishes.
Jettisoned.
Vanishes. You no longer know what to do. We have somebody who is a minister today. He knew what Nigeria was lacking in leadership before he became a minister. Today he is a minister. We have not seen anything positive. We have not seen any result from that ministry. A ministry that can pull out millions of youths from social vices and integrate them into doing something meaningful, something productive, that they will even pay tax. They can be trained because of their skill on the internet. They can be trained to have remote jobs in this country. So we must continue to plead with those that found themselves in one way or the other wearing our uniforms. They must imbibe in the spirit of patriotism from top to the bottom. They must imbibe in the spirit of patriotism so that the kind of result that we desire for the kind of country that we want will be achieved.
Well, it's so beautiful sharing things this way, because honestly, I get a kind of reassurance that there is hope. It's true that there are just three of us here, myself, Olumuyiwa, and Prof. But then, definitely there are many watching, listening, and many will still watch later, because of course it's a live stream, after which it remains on the YouTube and for many to watch and think and decide. It's a good thing that we're seeing it this way. I want to ask Prof. You both have said things that cannot be washed away just so easily. But I know there are still things you need to add for it to be perfected. Please, tell us more, Prof.
Again, thank you very much, and I will round off with this. But let me begin by correcting this impression that in the United States, the military are on the streets doing the job of police. Well, someone wanted to do that, so using National Guard to chase non-citizens. So, because one of the reasons we cannot give up on Nigeria at this point in time, that this year has been one of the most troubling, but 2025 till now is one of the most troubling years for Black people all over the world.
Yes.
And that's a message for all our leaders, that people must have a place to call our own. We cannot continue this way. People want to come back to Nigeria. Imagine just last week, someone who has spent about 30 years in the United States and he returned home to retire was murdered right inside his house in Lagos. So
Yes.
When you are telling people to come and invest in Nigeria, when you are telling people to come back home, all the people in the diaspora come back home. So
and they come home to be murdered.
And they come home to be murdered. So it's very important that government will have to look at this and work on security. And that's why I'm appealing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he understands this problem, but he was at the forefront when we were fighting for democracy, when we were fighting against military in this country. And it's on record that some of those things he said today, and then I don't forget. We can check all those, you can Google it, you can find everything he said. We are praying that God is going to give him strength for him to be able to deliver.
Yes.
So public order is maintained by professional law enforcement in the United States, while the military operates under strict constitutional limits. That court rule that National Guard should be pulled out from certain state, and it's still in court. Even where National Guard exists, its use is governed by law, civilian authority, and clearly defined rules of engagement. So this decision really matters. Security succeeds when rules are very clear, institutions are professional, and accountability is enforced at every point in time. So Nigeria's challenge is not the absence of forces. We have enough forces, but the absence of coherent security system, corruption, lack of accountability. So the system must include merit-based recruitment, like this last speaker just mentioned. So we need to enforce that into military and law enforcement, modern training, intelligence integration, and strong civilian oversight. At this point in time, all of us should be we are all security. We have to be supporting in terms of intelligence. Above all, it requires political will, like the speaker mentioned. Without leadership willing to reform recruitment, governance, and coordination, well, I'm telling you, this insecurity will still persist. And with it, Nigeria can build a disciplined, intelligence-driven security architecture that delivers lasting national security. And that should be our focus at this point in time. If you want to be talking about all other things, we're not going to live here. But the reality is that we have to make it simple. We have to feast our security first. When we feast our security, when people can come home, when we can be proud to call up, we see what is going to happen. People will be coming back home to come and invest their money, to come and build houses, to come and retire home. Like speaker said, the other speaker said, not because people cannot have opportunity to become entrepreneur here. In fact, this is the land of opportunity. Go to Europe because nobody is going to steal your money. Nobody is going to sell to land for you and you'll be fighting over it. Yeah. It's very easy to register your business and everything. But the reality is that people want to come home because they want to enjoy that, our best weather that God has given to us. They want to come home and contribute. And that's why you see people like Omo Yele Sowore, after spending years in the United States, he returns to Nigeria and said, look, we must have a place to call our home. And like the speaker said the other time, anyone who speaks against government, they will think, okay, they're against our policy. That's not it. It's just because we cannot give up on Nigeria at this point in time. And we will never give up until we have a place to call our home. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. We are very grateful. Honestly, KAFTAN Television is grateful too for the fact that you have made yourself available for us. Each time we call, each time we beckon on you to come, you come and assist us effectively. I want to thank you again and again, and I'll say that, as I always say, this will not be the last time. We will still continue with you. And of course, as you have done in the past, whenever you are home, you will come over and we do the live thing together here. Thank you so much. Well, before we round off, I want him to also say something. So even as you're there, just hear him as we'll be concluding. You heard Professor Dare Ogunlana talking about, in actual fact, let me sum it up to say that there is hope when there is a will, and that there is a way, even as that will can be enforced. As he has mentioned the president, and mentioned Olumuyiwa Onlede. These are fellows who, in spite of the differences, can fight and let things happen. it gives me a kind of peace that the future is still bright. How do you see it, sir?
Very, very. But before we can say the future is still bright, then we must change our strategy, especially those at the helm of affairs. In this security situation, those at the helm of affairs must look at people like Prof, who are outside the country, that have the opportunity to see what is happening there, how the problem emanates, how the problems are being handled, and how they are being solved. What I'm trying to say is the people, policymakers, must learn to accommodate ideas, foreign ideas, so that you put one or two together and see how you implement them. What I'm trying to say is in Nigeria today, you cannot, correspondent does not work. Correspondent does not work. You cannot write a proposal and send to any government office unless you know somebody there, unless you have an insider.
Yeah.
No matter the beautiful idea, if the idea is too beautiful for it to be ignored, the people in government office will call their own person that knows nothing about the idea to come and implement it. And at the end of the day, it will be bastardized. Things will not work. I believe the government should look at getting ideas from people outside the country, like the professor, put one or two together, invite them, talk to them, and let's see how we can use the ideas to navigate our way out of this present condition that we find ourselves. In Nigeria, whatever correspondence you see, before you read through the content, you go to look at the name of the person that undersigned.
Yeah.
If the name is familiar, you have interest in reading through. If the name is not familiar,
you just
don't
don't
have interest in reading through. It becomes a trash. No country solves problems like that.
Yeah.
When there's a problem, every hand must be on deck. Whether you are the same religion, you have the same religion, the same ethnicity, the same tribal affiliation, it doesn't matter. Whether you are different from each other, whether you belong to the same school of thought or not, it doesn't matter. The idea is what matters. So, accommodating ideas from Nigerians who have made their marks in different countries will go a long way to help us solve our problem as it stands today. And you cannot do that with sentiment. You cannot do that if you are positioned in government office. You cannot do that with negative ethnicity. It's not going to work. So you must accommodate ideas. You must call for it, even though it's not coming, because people are even discouraged. If you ask Prof now, maybe he has not even sent anything to any government office for years, because not because they don't have something to offer, but because they are discouraged. Ideas will not be taken, advices will not be taken. So why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your resources? Why are you wasting your energy and your IQ putting together proposals and sending to government? Well, you know they will not implement it. And once they see it as something that is very, very good, very, very appealing, they call people that knows nothing about it to come and implement it. At the end of the day, it is bastardized, nothing comes out of it, and we continue to wallow in the same problem. So, people must look at solutions to our problems for the betterment of the country, not selfish agendas for their selfish benefits. After we have solved our problems, people will take glory. That glory is enough for a white man to say, yes, I've made my mark, I've written my name in good. A white man, as a general, he has only one house, a mortgage, he has one wife, 2 children, one child. He's happy, he's satisfied. Being honored by his country with a badge and say, yes, you are a hero. We must continue to look at them. Whether we are different or not, we will continue to look at them, and we must copy that good thing from them for patriotism, for the betterment of our people and the country.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful session today. As I would always say, It's always a special time when Olumuyiwa Onlede gets to be on air. And so has it been again. I want to say special thanks to you for making out time to be here with us on the program.
Thank you for having me once again.
Right. And again, I want to say special thanks to Professor Dare Ogunlana for spending this hour with us, an hour and a half really, with us, and it's a big, big pleasure. Please keep doing it, because I know that what we're doing is affecting some people, and as we keep doing that, which is good, definitely some people will still become better than they were before they watched us or before they listened to us. I want to thank you. Prof is a specialist when it comes to cyber cafe matters, cyber security, forgive me. Cyber security. And security is security. And so we must listen to people like this, because they have what will make our nation to be like those big nations we are thinking about. But if we are not prepared to put into action the things they bring forward to us, it will be a shame. And may it never get to happen like that for us. And so I say again, out of my heart for you, Prof, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you
So
so
thank
much.
you.
And so, Olumuyiwa, same with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Dear viewer, we'll see you again. This is the last day of the working week, and so we'll see you again by next week, and we'll keep sharing on different points and ideas that has to do with helping the polity get to be better. Special thanks to Divine Dabrila. Special thanks to Victor Chizea and Victor Adair. Also remembering that there is Felix Akinjabola. We've also had Sam Omaji, and all of us put together. What have we done? We've tried to make our own suggestions, bring our own ideas to make a difference in our country, Nigeria. And so, on behalf of anyone else and everyone else, including Ruben Okala, the head of station, this is Okechukwu Onubogu. And I always will say, may the very best happen to us all the time.